Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Joseph Rodriguez.
Hey, Joe, what you doing?
And the Brain.
Hey, the Brain got a poop.
We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one, folks. How was your weekend? What a time. I'm not too big into hyperbole. You know that if you listen to this show. But what will transpire over the next 24 hours, they will talk about in the annals of college football history for all time. There's no other way around that. Let's just sort of, if I could, there's a ton to react to. And there is going to be a lot that's fluid throughout this show if you've paid attention throughout the last 24 hours, how quickly things have evolved. Almost as quickly as you can hit refresh on Twitter, whatever you're talking about seems obsolete. But let me just sort of, to set the table, play catch up to get us to the point where we are. On Wednesday, the Big Ten released its new schedule. On Friday, when we last spoke, the SEC announced its two new cross-divisional opponents. And then Saturday morning is when things started to go haywire, because Saturday morning is when the MAC, the Mid-American Conference, announced that it was suspending its season until the spring, citing the health and safety of student athletes. Never mind the fact that the MAC was now going to announce or ask student athletes to play 2 seasons in roughly 10 months. I digress. We'll get back to that. After the MAC's decision, becoming the first FBS program to suspend, the dominoes started to fall in effect, an effort which appeared that every college football conference in the FBS was going to follow. Here was Heather Dinich less than 24 hours ago. This was Sunday night on ESPN on SportsCenter. Discussing whether or not the MAC's decision to suspend their college football season in the fall and potentially move to spring. This was Heather Dinich talking about if the MAC's decision plays a factor in the rest of the Power Five.
It was a combination of factors. I mean, you have the MAC decision. That was extremely important because it was the first FBS conference to postpone fall sports. But there's also been a lot of outspoken players from the Pac-12, from the Big Ten, from the Mountain West Conference who have spoken up about concerns about playing during COVID-19. But I think a real big driving force in the quick turn of conversation has been a significant concern from the medical advisory committees from each of these conferences about the unknowns of the lasting impacts of heart effects from the coronavirus. There are a lot of unknowns, and you heard MAC Commissioner John Steinbrecher talk about that when he talked about their reasons for postponing fall sports. So that's a big question mark right now.
So all of a sudden now, lasting effects, heart effects of COVID-19 as a reason to postpone potentially college football. The thing that nobody's been able to answer, however, is if college football actually increases your likelihood of getting COVID-19. More on that in a bit. So, again, Sunday night, that was Heather Dinich reporting with the seeming inevitability of college football as a whole being canceled. This morning, Dan Patrick on the Dan Patrick Show, citing his own sources, gave an update as to where college football seemingly stands this morning.
Here's the information I got almost an hour ago.
The Big Ten and Pac-12 will cancel their football seasons tomorrow. The ACC and the Big 12 are on the fence. The SEC is trying to get a delay to have teams join them. The SEC is looking at exclusive TV contracts. So once again, then I followed up with my source and I said, so the Big Ten and Pac-12 canceled tomorrow. That's what I'm told this morning. 3 Big Ten teams that I've spoken with said it's done. And I followed up by saying, so the SEC might go alone and bring in other schools. That's the latest. They're trying to buy time, according to my source, to see if the ACC or Big 12 will go along with them.
So that's where, according to Dan Patrick this morning, things stood, that it was done from a Big Ten standpoint. That apparently was not entirely accurate, and it certainly wasn't going to be the end of this entire conversation. A Big Ten spokesman today, after that report, said and told Bruce Feldman and Ross Dellinger and others that there was no vote last evening among Big 12 presidents. There, again, was no vote among Big 10 presidents last evening. Bruce Feldman also speaking to a Big 12 source, a Big 10 source at one of the schools, there were reports that Iowa, Michigan, Nebraska, Ohio State might look to join the Big 12 or jump from the Big 10 to play. Bruce Feldman tweeted, reports of Iowa, Michigan, Nebraska, and Ohio State exploring a potential move to the Big 12. Source at one of those schools just told me, quote, that would be news to us. Are you following all this? So then, after all of this transpires, Scott Frost, who is the head coach at Nebraska, tells reporters that he would be willing to explore other opportunities to play. This is, do you have that one, Brain, that they would look to play elsewhere?
No, I only have the post-practice stuff.
That's okay. So Scott Frost tells reporters that the head coach at Nebraska, that he would be looking at games outside of the Big Ten. This is a tweet from Sam McCowan of the Omaha World-Herald when asking Scott Frost. He said, Frost asked whether Nebraska would pursue games outside the Big Ten structure. Quote, we want to play no matter who it is or where it is. I think we're prepared to look for other options. Are you following all of this? But it's still not done at that point, because then the governor of the state of Nebraska, whose name is Pete Ricketts, this is on Twitter from Sean Callahan, Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts said he is in favor of playing Big Ten football. Quote, I believe it is absolutely something we can do here in Nebraska, end quote. So again, to catch you up. Friday, hey, everyone's putting out their schedules. We've got 5 different schedules, 5 different leagues, 5 different kickoffs, etc. Saturday morning, the MAC says we're out. No big surprise. We've talked about that. The group of 5 schools can't afford to have a season. They would lose money by playing, right? Without full stadiums and without being able to play their Power 5 non-conference games, the group of 5 would lose money by playing football. So it makes more sense for them to move to a spring season where they could have fans, full stadiums, theoretically. Recoup some of the money they're sure to lose and hope maybe everyone else follows. Well, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, they seem like they're going to chicken out and they're going to move their season. Well, the SEC and the ACC at this point have said, we're good where we are for now. As a matter of fact, Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, just a short time ago on Twitter, his tweets about the advice he's received and the stance of the SEC. Here's the commissioner of the SEC. Best advice I've received since COVID-19. Be patient. Take time when making decisions. This is all new. And you'll gain better information each day. He writes, the SEC has been deliberate at each step since March. Slowed the return to practice, delayed first game to respect the start of the fall semester. He went on and wrote, developed protocols, testing protocols. We know concerns remain. We have never had a football season in a COVID-19 environment. Can we play? I don't know. We haven't stopped trying. We support, educate, and care for student athletes every day, and will continue to do so every day. So again, that's Greg Sankey today. So SEC, moving forward. ACC, moving forward. Big 12, reportedly on the bubble. Big 10, Pac-12, leaning toward not playing. But now you have this movement within the Big 10 with coaches, which we're going to talk about here after this break, pushing to play. And maybe the biggest point in all of this that we haven't even discussed yet is what the players organized on Sunday night. And that's coming up at the bottom of this hour. We're going to talk to Dan Murphy of ESPN, who chronicled the we want to play movement from the players' perspective. That might well be the crux that saves a fall, college football season. We got a lot to do, y'all. This is one of those days where I got a lot planned. I mean, I sat at my desk earlier thinking, and I tweeted this a bit ago, should I even bother with show prep? It feels like anything I do could end up being futile by the time the show starts. Some other things that we know is that this morning, SEC athletic directors met, and this afternoon, as we speak, SEC presidents are meeting. So something could come of the SEC presidents meeting while we're on air. Tonight, the Big 10 presidents are set to vote on a season. And tomorrow, the Pac-12 and the Big 12 presidents are meeting. So as where we started, the next 24 hours will be enormous in college football's history. Since the very first college football game was played, they have never missed a season. Even through 2 world wars and the flu pandemic of 1918. 9/11, a college football season has never been missed. We're on the brink in the next 24 hours of finding out if this will be a first in the history of college football. Stay tuned. We got a lot to do over the next 3 hours. Glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Relief Windows. Stay here.
AFR.
Well, whether or not college football plays, what we do know is that basically every other sport is playing. If you need a place to watch, get by Pluckers. 2 locations. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. The Pelicans stink, but the bubble's still going on, so if you want to watch good NBA teams, go watch them at Pluckers. Hey, Major League Baseball's back. You want to watch your favorite Major League team like the New York Yankees? Get by Pluckers. Even if you don't have the MLB TV app, you can watch every game of every team all throughout this shortened season at Pluckers. If NASCAR or IndyCar or MMA or boxing or horse racing are your things, they've got it on TV at Pluckers. And they've got award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, and a full-service bar. Is there anything more Americana as a sports fan than shoving chicken wings in your face, slugging beers, and watching sports on TV with your friends? Pluckers gives you all that. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Hello?
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roofs up.
Roofs up.
Roofs up.
Roofs up.
Roofs up. Roofs up. Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Our big New Year sale is going on now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, and you can get $3,200 off MSRP on a 20 Tacoma TRD or lease a 2020 Tacoma Special Edition for $209 a month. Come on down to Happy Town.
Further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we're going to talk to Dan Murphy of ESPN in 13 minutes from right now. Dan was the one who was out front of and chronicled the entire We Want to Play story, courtesy of college football players who got that trending. It was the #1 trending topic in the country last night. We talked a bit, and a chunk of our conversation today, naturally, is going to center around the Big Ten. And it's going to center around the Big Ten because the Big Ten presidents are meeting today, this evening, and are expected to vote on whether or not they're going to play this season or if their idea is to move the season to the spring. Because that has been the imminent decision, what's happened today is there has been an outpouring, a movement among Big Ten coaches and players and those involved trying to save their season. Jim Harbaugh was the first. And the super interesting thing about this is that Jim Harbaugh is, keep in mind, a guy who is polarizing. There's a lot of people in college football that don't like Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh and Ryan Day last week on a teleconference were jawing back and forth at each other. But Jim Harbaugh is also a guy who's never been afraid to speak his mind. And this is another interesting fact herein. So keep in mind, you've got the Big Ten presidents essentially on the cusp of deciding they're not going to play this season. And one of the most prominent figures in all of college football, I'm not talking about win-loss record, and we can laugh about the fact that Harbaugh has never finished higher than third in his side of the Big Ten. But it's undeniable that Jim Harbaugh is one of the more prominent figures in all of college football at an historic program. And Jim Harbaugh on Monday, knowing what the conference presidents in the Big Ten were aiming to do in postponing the season, crafted a statement that he blasted out, lobbying against what the presidents are about to do. He releases this statement that begins, "I would like to address the rumors that are swirling today. I'm not advocating for football this fall because my passion or our players' desire to play, but because of the facts accumulated over the last 8 weeks since our players returned to campus June 13th. I'm advocating on August 10th that this virus can be controlled and handled because of these facts. And he goes on to list Michigan football has had 11 positive tests out of 893 administered. 2 positive tests out of the last 417 administered. 0 positive tests out of the last 353 administered. He goes on and on, talked about complying with CDC guidelines, how they've been able to handle tracing in the fields and locker rooms and all their facilities. They've not had to pause their training. He says this isn't easy. This is hard. It is proven that the conduct, discipline, and structure within our program have led to these stellar results. We respect the challenge that the virus has presented. However, we will not cower from it. He goes on to talk about the prototype that they've developed and uses the hashtag we want to play and hashtag we want to coach. Y'all, it's hard to explain how significant this is. This is an employee, albeit one with a tremendous amount of clout. This is an employee directly amid the biggest decision his bosses will ever make, publicly using his clout to lobby against his bosses. It's stunning. And some might call it insubordination. Whatever you want to call it, Jim Harbaugh was a major leader here as this began. But Jim Harbaugh is not the only one. Jim Harbaugh comes out, obviously, and supports the We Want to Play movement. The guy he was feuding with last week, Ryan Day, the head coach at Ohio State, tweets, swinging as hard as we possibly can right now for these players. This isn't over. Hashtag fight. Not just Jim Harbaugh, not just Ryan Day. How about James Franklin at Penn State? Coach James Franklin, arguably outside of those two that I just mentioned, the other highest profile coach within the Big Ten, tweeted, I love our players and believe it is my responsibility to help them chase their dreams both collectively and individually. I am willing to fight with them and for our program. Y'all, what you have right now is an uprising. The players and coaches that make up college football are looking at the administrators and going, hey, why haven't you asked us? You're talking about mitigating risk and all this different stuff. We're the ones who have been in it now for 8 weeks, and you're not asking our opinion if we want to play and coach. And they are all very loudly and collectively telling you what they think. I mentioned Scott Frost. Scott Frost, the head coach at Nebraska, former quarterback at Nebraska. He was quoted earlier today, as we mentioned, saying that Nebraska they just want to play ball and they would pursue opportunities to play outside of the Big Ten if the Big Ten cancels. The governor of Nebraska is another who has come and said, we can play football in our state this year. But Scott Frost met with the media, and good on him. They had practice today in Nebraska. Scott Frost met with the media, and he made his players available to the media. First of all, Scott Frost, Nebraska's head coach, talking about why he feels like they should go ahead and play.
Again, I don't want to speak too much on medical things because I'm not a doctor. I'm not the expert on this. I know that putting college football players in a complete bubble and protecting them from getting this virus is going to be impossible if we play football. I also know that if we don't play football, putting the same kids in a bubble and protecting them from getting coronavirus is impossible. That's why my question is football the mitigating factor in the risk for these players? And I believe they're safer in an environment here where we're monitoring them, keeping track of them, giving them motivation to stay away from situations that could put them at risk. If our goal is to keep every single student athlete in the country from contracting coronavirus, we're going to fail whether we play football or not. If kids do acquire it, I know they're in good hands here. I know in other universities around the country in our league, they're in good hands if they do happen to acquire it. And I don't believe whether we play football or not is going to be the mitigating factor in whether they acquire it or not.
And the truth shall set you free. It's the single biggest question that nobody's been able to answer. Does playing college football increase your risk of contracting COVID-19? If the answer was unquestionably yes, okay, let's have that conversation. There's nothing to suggest it. Adrian Martinez is Nebraska's senior quarterback. He met with the media. He wants to play. Here's Nebraska's quarterback, telling you why he wants to play college football this year.
Well, it was a good practice. Like DCAP said, we brought the energy. I think guys are still optimistic that we can play this year because we want to play football, and there's a lot of other players like us who want to play football. I think there's still a strong possibility it can happen this year, and we're remaining optimistic. And we want to get better. We enjoy being around each other. We enjoy playing football. And I think in these times that are going on right now, it really makes some guys come out as if you really love football or if you don't. Do you really want to play or don't you? And I think you see that across college football, guys standing up for the game that we love to play, for the game that we want to play.
The players we want to play movement might well be the thing that saves college football. In an era where players are advocating more for their own rights and for more resources, it's those same players saying, no, we want to play, that might well save this college football season. Fascinating times. And as for that we want to play movement, the guy who documented it best is Dan Murphy. Covers college football for ESPN. He's going to join us next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. You can find them Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Don't get stuck outside getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, y'all. Spartan Mosquito Eradicator. Right around $20. So easy. You pop the top off. You fill it with water. It's got granules in it already. You shake it up. You hang it on your property line. You're done with mosquitoes 3 months at a time. It's that easy. Trust me. If I can do it, you can do it too. Because I'm an idiot when it comes to outdoorsy things. I don't even like to bait a hook. And I can fill a Spartan Mosquito Eradicator. Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Plants, trees, shrubs, anything. Hardware store, True Value Hardware Store. Anything you find at a hardware store, you find it at Clegg's. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in when you go see our friends today at Clegg's Nursery.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
This is a house call. This is a test result. This is a prescription refill. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. Start your virtual visit today at Auctioner Health.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
In and eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I'm just ready to have a great year and be a part of this team. We're super pumped. Like I said, me and Travis are definitely here. We're committed to playing. And
voice of Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence, who had a decision to make. He was going to opt in or opt out. He opted in and decided he's all the way in. He was one of those who led the We Want to Play movement on social media on Sunday night. A guy who chronicled it at ESPN.com is Dan Murphy, who's good enough to join us for a few minutes here. Dan, we appreciate the time, man. How are you?
I'm good, Matt. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure, especially on what's got to be a really busy day. When did you first get wind of what was starting to happen?
I mean, in terms of what ended up finishing around midnight Sunday night, really not until the message came out, that all came together really quickly in terms of a dozen or so pretty high-profile names in college football came together. They had never talked to each other prior to 8:30 Eastern time on Sunday night, and within less than 4 hours, they had put together a statement that could end up being a really big mile marker of a sea change in college sports.
Would you elaborate why you think that? Because certainly for this season it makes sense, yeah. But moving forward, a sea change in college sports. Would you elaborate?
Sure, yeah, and to be clear, it's like a big moment in something that has been building for a while, and that's, I think, this summer more than anything has been marked by college football players starting to learn that they have a voice and that they have leverage, and when they want to use that, they can. Whether it's players like Kylan Hill getting involved in changing the Mississippi state flag, or players speaking up about COVID regulations, or the NIL discussion that's been going on for the better part of a year now, I think these guys are realizing how important they are to a billion-dollar operation and figuring out that they can flex that a little bit. And this is obviously the most organized and high-profile nationwide example of that to date. The big question is whether or not they kind of sustain that momentum and that set a foundation to change things going forward, or whether or not the big obstacle facing college athletes from organizing on this level is always that the guys that have enough cachet to organize are usually gone within a year off the NFL. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes in the coming months.
Dan, I want to go back to some of the logistics here of how this all played out. So you find out basically like the rest of us do whenever the graphic gets published, and in the story you put together, which is really well done, how did you contact or know which players to begin contacting to piece this together?
Yeah, so I mean, I did not know about Sunday's meeting until everybody else, as I was, scrolling through Twitter in bed on Sunday night, about ready to shut it down. But I had, in the week leading up to this, there had been a lot of discussion, both from Pac-12 players that had organized a movement asking for, a list of demands and things to change before they show up and play games, and a group of Big Ten players. And all of these guys kind of started having conversations amongst themselves and seeing who's active on this stuff in social media and connecting with each other. So there are a few guys, few current players that are sort of at the nexus of a lot of this stuff going on. There's a player out of Michigan named Hunter Reynolds who started an organization this summer called College Athlete Unity. So I reached out to him. I reached out to some of the guys who have been pretty involved in what the Pac-12 has going on. And through that, it was easy pretty quickly to triangulate exactly who was involved and how all that was going on.
So you wrote extensively about it, and Dan Murphy's our guest on Twitter at Dan Murphy ESPN. He has the piece up about how the whole We Want to Play movement came together. What would you say it was the crux of it, like the most integral part of bringing this from idea to number one trending topic in the country on Sunday night?
Well, I think the big thing these guys wanted to get across is that earlier in the week, a group of players had said, we're not comfortable playing in the current situation. And then this other group of players came out and said, we really want to play. And so it seemed like they were going up against each other, pitted against each other. These guys started talking Sunday afternoon and realized that they were really on the same side. Everybody wants to play, but everybody wants to play in a way that's safe and that they have some kind of say in how it goes down. There was just one group that was saying the first half of that sentence, and the other group was saying the back half of it. So once they got together, a big part of their message was making sure people understood we want to play, but we want to do it in a way that's safe. So I think that's their top priority is figuring out some protocol to get through the pandemic and sort of a last-ditch effort to try to save a season that looks like it's crumbling, at least on some fronts right now. And then in the longer term, they want to start working in, and they realize this isn't going to happen before a season starts in the next few weeks, but they want to try to start laying the foundation for making sure players, when all kinds of issues pop up in the future, have a bigger representative voice and are a part of the decision-making process. And that's where the Players Association and some of the future decisions of whether it's financial or health or any other way that players might have a bigger voice in what happens in college sports, that's where that starts to come into play.
We just scrolled on our television feed the We Want to Play hashtag, and it's everything from Trevor Lawrence to like the official Wake Forest account to Shaq and the president. I mean, it's insane how this is taken off. What was a realistic – did any of the players express to you what they felt was a realistic result?
I don't think anybody imagined that the president of the United States would be chiming in on it 12 hours later.
Right.
But, talking to them, I think a few of them did realize that this was a potentially big moment in becoming a turning point. And I talked to the guy out at Stanford named Dylan Bowles, who was sort of initially got everybody together. And he said, yeah, I think we might have made history tonight. They realized that this was a potentially big deal. I don't think anybody who knows what catches on and goes viral or what gets skipped in a news cycle these days because of everything going on in the world. But, I think it's been a big enough issue, and it's been sort of this building storm for the past several months that I don't know that any of those guys were that they had big aspirations and big hopes for what this could be. I don't know if they were sure that it was going to become it or not.
Got a couple more things for you. Dan Murphy's with us on Twitter at Dan Murphy ESPN. I retweeted the story a bit ago. Make sure you go read it as well about how the We Want to Play movement started Sunday among college football players and materialized into the number one trending hashtag in the country. Do you think, and this, Dan, is just an opinion, do you think this is the thing that could save the fall college football season?
I would be pretty surprised if that were the case. I don't think, and mostly because I don't know that it's a surprising news that players want to play. I think everybody would have assumed that going in, or that coaches want to coach. The big question, the big problem that colleges have been trying to find a way to solve all summer is, how do you deal with the legal liability of the potential that somebody gets sick or somebody eventually dies because they contracted coronavirus in the middle of a football season? both from a, how do you sleep at night to how do you deal with that in the court of law and what the fallout from that might look like in dollars and cents. And the players speaking up and saying we want to play and we want these uniform rules, while might solves one problem, I don't think that's the biggest part of the equation that's yet to been solved, and I don't know how much it's going to have a short-term impact on this season.
Last thing, and it's fascinating. Just Dan, as you were talking, the chancellor at Tennessee tweeted essentially that she went and met with the Tennessee football team this afternoon, asked them if they want to play. It was a resounding yes, and it kind of seems like Tennessee is publicly endorsing play. It's so fascinating to see how all this is just playing out in front of our eyes. But last thing, and because you had been following the Pac-12 player movement, and you also just alluded to the liability issue, one of the big questions I have that might be an unintended consequence of players collectively coming together like this is this an effort essentially to unionize, to revisit unionizing college sports? And if so, the potential far-reaching effects of how that just materially changes this game as a whole. Is this one of the sort of push off from the dock moments that lead us to that?
I think it has the potential to be. I don't think it's a guarantee that it is, and it's going to be how long can the players that are involved sustain it, and how much can they really push to have a serious conversation with the leaders of college sports. And I don't know whether having a season or not having a season impacts that for the better or the worse. Honestly, I'm not sure how that would change things. But, in terms of a union, that's what they're asking for with the Players Association. It's a little bit different. They'll never have a true union because of the a public school, even if you're an employee of a public school, it's not quite a union, but it would be in effect the same thing, a collectively bargaining group, a representative group of all of college football players that could sit down and be part of the process of making the rules of how the sport's going to be played in the future, whether that's collecting name, image, and likeness money or revenue sharing, as the Pac-12 wanted to do, or, setting some type of standards for health care or, how long their scholarships last. All of those things could be on the table if the players had a more unified and organized voice. And I think what we're seeing, and I talked to a couple of the guys who were part of that call last night, said the biggest thing that they see is that it's easier now, it's way easier now than ever before to organize players and get everybody on the same page, as is demonstrated by the fact that they did it in 3 hours last night. And they want to try to take advantage of that and say, this is something that we've never been able to do in college football before because of the nature of the sport and because guys were only around for a couple of years that have any cachet enough to do this. Being able to do it quickly and being able to go from coast to coast and connect with guys is always a really big challenge. And based on where we are in the modern world today, it's a lot easier. So that to me is the most interesting development toward that could be pushing us toward that kind of a future where there is a players association and college players act a little bit more like players in a professional sport in the sense that they have sort of a collectively bargained agreement for how all this stuff is going to play out.
Hey Dan, the biggest thing to come out of COVID is Zoom. I mean, my goodness, that's how these guys got together. How many people knew what Zoom was 2 months ago?
It's wild. Yeah. You go from Twitter DMs to Zoom to, the president of the United States talking about you within 24 hours. It's a pretty wild world right now. Yeah.
It is indeed. Dan Murphy, he's on Twitter at Dan Murphy, ESPN. Go read his stuff. Really good piece up right now. How college football stars held a video call to further unite and issue their statement. How all the We Want to Play movement got started. He has the story. Dan, we appreciate a couple of minutes, man. Thanks so much.
Matt, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. At Dan Murphy, ESPN on Twitter. Y'all go give him a follow. All right, it's after further review. And it is stunning. I mean, it was like a Stanford running back. Or no, it was a Stanford defensive lineman named Dylan Bowles who got a DM from Clemson running back Darian Rencher. They never met. But basically, part of those Pac-12 player unity group that started a couple of weeks ago, they had been conversing because of the ACC when that was trying to inquire. And so that's how this whole thing started. Before you know it, Trevor Lawrence is on the call, then Justin Fields is on the call, and then you got all these guys, and then boom, there it is. And the guy who did the graphic, he even got the name of the guy who did the graphic. It was Washington State's Dallas Hobbs, the We Want to Play graphic that all the players shared and that everyone's sharing on social media. The guy who did that graphic is Dallas Hobbs of Washington State, who was on this call, along with Najee Harris of Alabama, Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State, Penei Sewell from Oregon, Utah's Nick Ford, Michigan's Hunter Reynolds. Amazing. Just an amazing time. All right, it's after further review. Many thanks to Dan Murphy. So that's normally when we do around the SEC, but that was when Dan was available. So let's just bump around the SEC to this coming segment. I do want to delve deeper also into what the Tennessee Chancellor just tweeted, what that means for the SEC moving forward. And I will take your interaction today. So it's one of those days where we're probably a one-topic day. So if you want to join us, we'll open up the phone lines throughout the show at Matt Moscona, at 104.5 ESPN, or jump in the huddle on the 104.5 Baton Rouge app, on the YouTube chat, or you can always call us at 499-1045 or toll-free 844-568-MATT. Stick around. Glad to have you aboard with us here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Think real estate? Think Darren James, agent225.com, agent225.com. If you're buying or selling, just nobody better, nobody who gets results like Darren James. Not me saying it. Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1,000 realtors in America. That's based on the number of homes sold. How many agents, how many realtors do you know that do daily radio ads? Think about it. The average realtor spends a couple $100 a month in marketing their product, marketing their listings, your home. Darren James and his team spends literally thousands of dollars every month marketing his listings, your home, to bring more eyes and more buyers. And the bottom line is Darren has the system in place to get your home sold faster for more money. It is statistically proven that moving is among the most stressful experiences for a family. And Darren wants to remove the stress and get you results. It's Darren James. 335-7666. 335-7666. Think real estate? Think Darren James.
Our big New Year sale is going on now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, and you can get $3,200 off MSRP on a 20 Tacoma TRD or lease a 2020 Tacoma Special Edition for $209 a month. Come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Tennessee's Chancellor, Donde Plowman, referenced this in the interview we did with Dan Murphy just a bit ago. She tweeted, this afternoon, I met with our football team and staff to have an open conversation about playing football this fall. At the end of our discussion, I asked if they wanted to play football, and the answer was a resounding yes, all caps. Here's a picture of the Tennessee team all together there with head coach Jeremy Pruitt speaking and Chancellor Plowman of the University of Tennessee addressing the team, and there's also Phil Fulmer, the Chancellor, and the head coach Jeremy Pruitt pictured. If you want to go follow her Twitter at Donde Plowman, DondePlowman. You can see all this. But it's just abundantly clear right now how lines in the sand have been drawn. And, you know, I do plan to talk about this. Maybe I'll do this coming up at the start of the next hour, because something which really transpired over the last over the last 24 hours, certainly, or 48 hours, is an illustration of just how faulty the foundation upon which college football has built its empire is. And we'll delve a little deeper into that coming up, because all of the disparity, all of the uncertainty surrounding the sport right now, and the lack of a unified voice is what is making college football look so incredibly foolish. But it's the reality of the sport, and maybe this will be the impetus to change it. We'll talk a bit more about that coming up. And if you want to call us, we'll leave the phone lines open all day today. 499-1045, 499-1045, or toll free 844-568 Matt, 844-568-6288. All right, it's after further review. A little late, but let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Florida Gators.
All right, Dan Mullen got a big commit on Monday, biggest of the 2021 class. Miami 5-star cornerback Jason Marshall pulled the trigger. He chose the Gators over Alabama, LSU, Miami, and Oregon. 6'2", 180. He's the number 29 overall prospect in the country for 2021, the number 2 overall cornerback in the country for 2021. Gators 2021 recruiting class now has 24 commits.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
California top 100 tight end Brock Bowers has committed to the Bulldogs, and Kirby Smart, 6'3", 225. He chose the Dogs over 21 other programs, including Cal, Notre Dame, Oregon, Oregon State, Penn State, UCLA, Washington, and others. He's the number 92 overall prospect, the third best tight end in the country. Bowers is the 12th commit for Georgia's 2021 class.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
And Chance Moore, the 44th best player in 2021, has announced his commitment to Arkansas's basketball program. Chose Arkansas over LSU, Alabama, Georgia, and a long list of others. He's a 6'5" wing out of Georgia, the number 10 small forward in the class. He's the first commit for Eric Musselman's 2021 class. Arkansas will have 10 new faces debuting on their roster this coming basketball season. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. They're online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. If you're a business owner and you need to stay more efficient, Gulf Coast Office Products can help. You want a better relationship with your office equipment provider? Gulf Coast Office Products can help. You get face-to-face sales, service after the sale, and a great line of equipment from all the brands that you know and use. Gulf Coast Office Products online, gcopnet.com, GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast office products. It is After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows. Glad to have you hanging out here on this Monday edition after a really busy weekend. There is a lot going on. The Pelicans peed down their leg in the bubble. They're finished. The Saints are gearing up and back on the practice field. We got to hear from the likes of Alvin Kamara and Emmanuel Sanders. There is an awful lot going on relevant around here, but it just feels like one of those days where the biggest story in all of sports is what's happening in college football. So we're going to talk about that. I got a minute. Theodore is in Baton Rouge. Hey, Theodore, go ahead, man. Thanks for the call.
Hey, how's it going, man? Just want to say first time, long time.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate your work, man, and being positive for everybody out there. Just got two questions for you. Number one, do you know anything about the ticket refund process? Because I have tickets for UTSA for week one.
Okay.
You guaranteed me we was going to play, and now I don't have no money.
Did y'all play? Did you buy them through LSU or through a secondary site? I hung up. Okay. All right, it's After Further. So as far as ticket refunds go, if you got them through LSU, they have a policy in place whereby you can get your refund, or you can pay it forward to the next year, or you can donate the money to LSU, and it would be a tax-deductible donation. If you got it through a secondary site, that's a good question because it's probably going to help a lot of people. You'd have to go through that secondary site, so remains to be seen.
AFR.
I put a button here on hour number 1. We remind you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. All throughout the month of August, 20% off Pico Way laser tattoo removal. What that means is that if you have the lucky horseshoe tattooed on your lower back like Brain does and you don't want that anymore, this is a great way. 20% off Pico Way laser tattoo removal. 20% off, fewer treatments, virtually pain-free, better results. This is the month to do it. If you got the unicorn behind your ear like Brain got on Spring Break 98 and you want to get rid of that, Pico Way laser tattoo removal. This is the way to do it, affordably, virtually pain-free, with fewer treatments. It's at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, online at theantiagingclinics.com. theantiagingclinics.com.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Visit Bayou Ford for a new 2020 Ford F-150 for only $30,400 with 0% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Getting geared up for hour 2 of AFR coming your way shortly. And the meanwhile, quick Sports Center update. So the president's in, joining the hashtag We Want to Play movement on Monday by voicing his support for college football players, coaches, and fans around the country who are trying to persuade university presidents and conference commissioners to salvage the upcoming season. Trump tweeted earlier today, the student athletes have been working too hard for their season to be canceled. Hashtag We Want to Play. So Alvin Kamara says he's not concerned about his contract heading into the final year of his rookie deal. In fact, Saints running back told his agent to not even mention it to him unless something serious develops. Instead, the 3-time Pro Bowler says his main focus this offseason was healing from his knee and ankle injuries that plagued his season last year. From the bubble, the Jazz have a 100-88 lead in the fourth over the Mavericks. That's actually starting the fourth. And the Suns are up big, 125-99, with about 2 minutes to go in the fourth. Hour 2 of AFR coming now.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Joseph Rodriguez.
Hey, Joe, what you doing?
And the Brain.
Hey, the Brain got a poop.
We're here. Glad you are as well. Make it a good one. Paul O'Neill still on vacation today and tomorrow. Paul will be back on Wednesday. Joe Rod doing work in the meantime. We appreciate him for filling in and taking care of everything on the TV side of things. So this is in many respects a one-topic day. The future of college football, certainly this season, is hanging in the balance, and everybody is weighing in, and things are developing very quickly. The SEC athletic directors met earlier today. The SEC presidents, as I understand, are meeting now, and we could have some word. They're not expected to vote today, but we could have some word on that at some point throughout the day today. Tonight, the Big Ten presidents are expected to meet and vote on a season, and the Big Ten clearly is the league that is leaning heaviest toward postponing. However, there has been a massive push from all of the prominent people atop the Big Ten's hierarchy, coaches, players. Even the governor of the state of Nebraska has come out and said, we can play football in Nebraska. It's been really fascinating to watch the amount of pushback of the particulars trying to salvage this season. And and I'm looking at College Football Live right now here in studio, and Heather Dinich is being interviewed, and apparently the Big Ten, majority of the presidents are still in favor of postponing the conference. It remains to be seen if that vote does go down tonight in that manner. So if it does, then you breed this other massive question of, is there a possibility of schools in the Big Ten playing independently or in another league this year? Terada Mitchell is a player plays for Ohio State, and he tweeted earlier today, can we go play in the SEC then? Well, Brian Hartline, who is the receivers coach at Ohio State, retweeted him, I'm in, dial it up. Like, you have, do you understand the significance of this? You've got a Big Ten assistant coach at Ohio State to go played in the Big Ten. on Twitter lobbying to go play in the SEC this year. Like, to be able to play their season. It speaks to something that I know I've talked about a lot over the years, but sometimes only when you're ready to hear a message or your ears really open to it. That's true with a lot of things. That's true with advertising. That's true with your parents when they're trying to teach you lessons. And only when you're ready to have that lesson stick or absorb it do you really fully digest what's being said. And I think that's what's happening right now in college football. I even got a tweet today from a guy who said, yeah, the NCAA will probably pull the plug on the whole thing. No. The NCAA has nothing to do with this. This is what we've talked about for so long about the structure of college football. The NCAA does not govern major college football. Major college football allows the NCAA to act as the enforcement arm to enforce the rules. But as far as governing college football at the highest level, the NCAA has zero to do with it. Nothing. Nada. Zip. Zero. Mark Emmert and the NCAA cannot make a unilateral decision for how college football will proceed. They could make a decision if they're going to hold a college baseball championship or March Madness or any of that, but college football at its highest level does not have a governing body. You have all of these little fiefdoms. Every conference governs itself, and actually, by extension, every individual university president is the ultimate decision maker for their university, the president or chancellor. So the conference commissioners don't even have unilateral authority to make a decision for their league. Look at what Ohio State's doing. I mean, there was a report today that schools like Michigan, Ohio State, Nebraska, and Iowa are looking to play college football even if the Big Ten punts because they can. That's how disjointed the structure of college football is. The thing that really made me laugh is not laugh, haha, but smirk. So Big Ten presidents on Saturday met, and they decided they were ready to pull the plug on a fall college football season. Well, they wanted to gauge the interest of other university chancellors and presidents in the other 4 Power 5 leagues to see if they'd fall in line. The report from ESPN was essentially hoping that they could make a unified statement about what they were going to do. One Power 5 coach told ESPN, quote, nobody wanted to be the first to do it, and now nobody will want to be the last. Another Power 5 administrator added, quote, it feels like no one wants to, but it's reaching the point where someone is going to have to. Well, the Big Ten presidents wanted to have a sort of unified approach here. Y'all, we pulled the plug in mid-March on sports because of COVID-19. March. You had March, April, May, June, July. You've had 5 months. Parts of 6 months, actually. But you've had half a year for the Power 5 to collectively come together and make a decision about how they wanted to approach this college football season. You had 5 months for them to come together and have a plan about schedule. And if it's going to be conference only, when you're going to start, would you have common open dates, uniform testing policies? You've had 5 months to figure all that out. And you know what happened last week? You remember what happened last week? We had 5 different schedules with 5 different formats and 5 different kickoff dates. Nobody came together. None of the leagues was willing to come together and compromise and move forward together, unified. They all said, oh, we'll do our own thing for whatever their own petty self-interest reasons were. Not for the good of college football, but for their own selfish good. But that's how college football is governed. That's how college football is run. You couldn't get uniformity in 5 months. You thought you were going to get it in 5 hours? No shot. You think you're going to get it now? College football will proceed as it always has. But you know what the irony is of what transpired on Saturday? Remember, Friday, the SEC releases its schedule. Saturday morning, the MAC becomes the first FBS conference to announce they're not going to have a fall season. And the statement the MAC released cited the health and safety of our student athletes. But the complete hypocrisy is they want to move to the spring. So, in essence, you're citing the health and safety of your student athletes, but now you're going to ask those same student athletes to have 2 full seasons in a span of about 10 months. Get real. I see straight through the hypocrisy. But the real issue at hand was money. Look, we had a Group of 5 AD, Eddie Nunez of New Mexico, on our show last month. And he spelled out in no uncertain terms financially what it meant to his athletic department to not play the Power 5 guarantee games and what it meant to have no attendance and the TV contract dollars. The bottom line is for the Group of 5, they would lose money playing football this year by not having their guarantee games and limited attendance. The Group of 5 would lose money. It would cost them more to play than to not play. And in a time where everybody's revenue's down, you can't be doing things that are going to cost you more money. That's like you're going to file for bankruptcy, but you're going to go buy a $5,000 suit. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, you have to be prudent. But the irony is that the Power 5 severed these games with the Group of 5. They went conference only in an attempt at self-preservation. So, look, the best way we can guarantee ourselves a season is by going conference only. So they sever ties with the Group of 5. They just kick them to the curb. Well, in so doing, the Group of 5 lost all that revenue and now have decided they got to push. And they did so, though, citing health and safety of student athletes. So now the Power 5, which is still FBS, because that's the way it's been structured, they look barbaric running these student athletes out there in the name of football, while the Group of 5, because of, quote, health and safety of the student athletes, are doing what they think is best, right? The thing that the Power 5 did in trying to preserve itself is the thing that's on the brink of costing it its season. But it's their own fault because the Power 5 was greedy in continuing to call themselves FBS along with the Group of 5 when they have no business being on the same level. That's like varsity teams playing freshman football teams and saying you're the same. You're not even close to being the same. ULM will never be on the same level as LSU, but the way college football is structured is they are. Why? Money. That's it. It's the singular reason. There's no competitive reason at all why LSU and South Alabama should be in the same classification of football. But that's how this has been structured because it's this sort of symbiotic relationship. The Power 5 gets a few more home gates and some easy wins, and the Group of 5 gets their money to fund the rest of their athletic department. And the structure is flawed, and you're seeing that right now. My hope through all of this, whenever it happens, it's an inevitability. It almost happened 10 years ago when everything realigned. But my hope is that this, albeit in an awful situation amid COVID, but my hope is that this pushes the Power 5 to complete independence, to where it creates its own structure, independent of the Group of 5 and everybody else. And it's just a Power 5 sport. That's it. That can then appoint a governing body which has unilateral control over how things are determined. That's what I hope. That's what I hope happens. You can opt in as a school, as an athletic department. You can opt out, whatever you want to do. But that's the structure that needs to exist. You hear people say college football needs a czar, a commissioner. It does. It needs a governing body that can oversee the whole thing so you avoid situations like this where amid a pandemic, you've got 5 different conferences, really 10 if you include the Group of 5, all making different decisions in their own selfish best interest instead of what's good for the game as a whole. And that's what leads us here at 4:14 on a Monday with all these different university presidents meeting to determine what they're going to do for a season. And you may have Big Ten teams, if the Big Ten cancels, decide we're going to play anyway. And so then Big Ten teams come and jump aboard with the SEC and the ACC. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that happens. It's 2020. Nothing would surprise me at this point. But my one hope is that because of this awful scenario that's unfolding, we do collectively, through the other side, get a better version of college football, and I hope it's sooner than later. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows. If you want to join us, jimsfirearms.net phone lines are open at 499-1045. There is a line open if you want to take it. I'll get some of your calls when we come back. So if you're on hold, just stick on hold. We'll come to you when we come back. 499-1045 or toll-free 844-568-MATT, 844-568-6288. Lots of ways you can get involved. Glad you're with us here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Hey, if you're driving home tonight, need a good meal, make it an Ichiban night. Essen near Perkins or Airline Highway in Gonzales, the most creative specialty rolls, the freshest fish. I've told you this before, but you know Ichiban will reject about 20% of the fish that comes in on a given day because they'll inspect it and they will only use the absolute freshest fish every single day. That's how you get better tasting sushi and sashimi. And look, if you're not into sushi or sashimi, they've got a full menu. The hibachi, award-winning hibachi, where you choose your protein, expertly trained hibachi chefs. You can have steak, or shrimp, or chicken. It's amazing. What a great way to entertain a client or have a fun date night. It's at Ichiban. 2 locations, Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. The Gonzales location, if you're going south on Airline, you cross Highway 44 about a mile on the right. You can't miss it. Try a Moscona roll. Tweet me a picture. It's Ichiban. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. Voted by you the best sushi and the best of 225. It's Ichiban.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I love how things work out sometimes. Last hour we had Dan, about 45 minutes ago, we had Dan Murphy on the show, ESPN college football writer. He's the one who wrote the story about the We Want to Play movement. And now I look up College Football Live. There's Dan Murphy. So I guess we were a warm-up. Can you take that one, Joe? Like, can you see that? Or from this one? Can't you see the TVs from this one? There he is. Look at that. Look at that guy. All right. And you know what? I bet for his College Football Live appearance, Dan Murphy's not going to get dead soxy, but he will for coming on AFR. Got my dead soxy on today. Dead, SOXY.com, deadsoxy.com, SOXY, deadsoxy.com. New standard in premium dress socks. Check them out, deadsoxy.com. All the great styles and designs. Remember, use the promo code GO, G-E-A-U-X, promo code GO, and you'll save 30% on top of any existing sale. So, like, if you go right now, they got some amazing sales on the no-shows, on the boardroom collection. So, like, you already have some discounted items up on the website. Use the promo code GO, and you'll save an additional 30% off the order. Like, some of this stuff's already marked down, like 25, 30%. You can get another 30% off on top of it. So get to deadsoxy.com right now. Use the promo code GO, G-E-A-U-X, and get your Dead Soxy, the new standard in premium dress socks, deadsoxy.com. All right, all guests on AFR get a gift from Dead Soxy, so we appreciate them for making that possible. All right, I'm coming to the phones. One other quick note, real quick. We did learn over the weekend that if in fact LSU does have their season, and it certainly looks like the SEC is willing to proceed, they'll be without Neil Farrell, LSU senior defensive end Neil Farrell. He has decided to opt out of the season, becoming the first LSU player to opt out. Apparently, Farrell had a pretty rough go of it with his family with COVID-19. So Neil Farrell becomes the first LSU football player to opt out. You know, one of the things, though, that and let's make no mistake, Farrell would have been a big part of this defensive line and that we've talked about a lot so far in this 2020 offseason. Ed Orgeron has rebuilt the defensive line in this 4-3 defense, and Farrell was going to be a big part of it. Glenn Logan, Jaquelin Roy, Tyler Shelvin, Apuaika, Jacobian Guillory. I mean, it obviously has been a major focus of this offseason. So not having Neil Farrell takes a impactful veteran away from that group. A guy who's started or played in 14 games last year with 3 starts. He's played a lot of football over his career. This past year, I had 46 tackles, 7 for loss, and 3 sacks. I mean, it was going to be a significant part of that LSU interior, but now they'll proceed without Neil Farrell in 2020. But the other part of this that's important, and this is what, you know, the We Want to Play movement aimed to achieve, is that they wanted players who opted out to have their decision respected and to have their scholarship retained, and all of that is true. And so everyone who's looking at this situation, I think, roundly understands and respects Neil Farrell's decision to opt out. I know I certainly do. You wish him all the best and safety for his family. Anybody that wants to opt out, it's perfectly within their right. The flip side of it, though, is that if players want to play, they should have that option as well. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. I mentioned we will get some of your calls, texts, emails, tweets throughout the show today, so we'll jump on the phone lines now for those that waited. 499-1045. Here's Stuart in New Iberia. Hi, Stuart.
Matt, man, I'm just so fed up with all of this, man. It just is so frustrating. I tell you, I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Here comes the conspiracy theory?
Yeah, no, I'm not really. And I know you try to avoid politics, man, but I just can't help but think, since March, we've been talking about COVID, and I think it was in April when Herb Street came out and said he'd be shocked if there was a season. And every time people have said that there wasn't going to be a season, the positive people have pushed through it and worked on a way that it can be done and be done safely. And look, if the players don't want to play, by all means, please don't do anything that you're not comfortable doing. But now they've announced the schedule when it got down to it, and the SEC came out with their schedule and said, hey, we're going to move ahead. Now all of a sudden we find out that, hey, well, what is it going to do to the heart? Now there's this heart issue. Well, where was this heart issue 4 months ago, 3 months ago? Why is it just coming out now once we've decided that, hey, this season is going to move forward? It just, to me, seems politically motivated. I don't know who to believe. I stopped watching the news, and I'm just fed up with all of it. I'm sick of it, Matt. I really am.
Well, Stuart, I don't blame you for stopping watching the news. I stopped watching the news a long time ago. But as far as COVID-19 and a heart-related impact, I'll put it to you this way. And thank you for the call. And thank you for listening. I appreciate it, Stuart. We're still roughly 6 months into this. Of course, we're going to learn more as we go along. We'll learn more about how people handle it. We'll learn more about how to treat COVID-19. And we will learn more about potential side effects, or short and long-term effects. A lot of people talk about how it could scar your lung tissue. That I wouldn't be surprised at all at that. But you also have to think of what type of risk in life you're willing to take. And is playing football a greater risk than just leaving your home? The Pope Francis, has one lung. He's done okay in his life with one lung. And we're not even talking about something that severe, right? As having one of your lungs removed. My son Drew was born with pulmonary insufficiency. He was born with basically one healthy lung and a bad heart. So COVID is something we're very aware of. But we're aware of all respiratory viruses with Drew. So you balance and weigh what risk you're willing to take. Trey Smith, Tennessee's Trey Smith, had blood clots in his lungs. This guy would have been a first-round draft pick. He was former number one offensive lineman in the country. Trey Smith's a guy that's had blood clots in his lungs. He's got pulmonary issues. And he says he wants to play. Okay, well, it's a grown man who has been medically evaluated, and he'll assess the risk and then make his own determination moving forward if he's willing to play and assume that risk. I mean, that's the point that I'll keep coming back to. I don't mind sharing this with you, but we one of the things that we early on with COVID, we talked to all of our son Drew's doctors, his pediatrician, his cardiologist, his surgeon, everybody. We asked them their opinion on if because he's supposed to start school a week from today, and we asked them their opinion. And some of the most brilliant people, literally that deal with the most critical pediatric cases, like Drew, and their message to us was, listen, COVID's not going anywhere. It's like, the flu's been around for 100 years. COVID, we have to learn to live with it and take the necessary precautions that you can and be smart and proceed as you feel best. And I think that's true for everybody. And so you assess risk. Because one player had a cardiac side effect that doesn't seem to be presenting tremendously throughout, is that reason alone to shut down all of college football? I don't think so. Maybe for that player, certainly, and others who don't want to assume that risk, okay. But is that a reason not to play at all? I don't think so. You may disagree, and that's fine if you disagree. Then I would tell you, don't play football, and if you're not comfortable going out anywhere, then don't go out anywhere. But the reality is, it's something that we all have to learn to live with. And that's one of the reasons I've been very dead set on pushing forward, is because whether they play football or not is immaterial with respect to how our society deals with COVID-19. You can tweet us. Thanks for the call, Stuart. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona at 1045ESPN. You can email Matt at 1045ESPN.com. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube as well. Obviously, it's just a massive day for news. There's a lot of people watching there on YouTube. So we appreciate you for being there on the 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge page. You can watch, subscribe, hit the bell. Watch, subscribe, hit the bell. And, of course, on the After Further Review channel as well. So if you miss things there on the AFR channel, you can catch us there. So we appreciate you for being here. It's After Further Review. I did get a question on Twitter from Timothy who asked, bigger loss, Neil Farrell or Marcel Brooks? I'll address that when we come back. Also, we get to more of your calls, texts, emails, tweets. And Joe Burrow tweets his support for college football players. We'll delve into some of that as well when we come back. Glad you're here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at the Baton Rouge General Hospital, because the Baton Rouge General Hospital has not only been a great partner of us here on AFR, but a great community partner throughout the COVID-19 shutdown. brgeneral.org. They have basically extended every resource possible to make sure that our community is as safe as possible. From their staff working extended hours, from opening up the emergency clinic at the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, reopening the ER at the Baton Rouge General Mid-City location. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. What that also means is that your doctor here in Baton Rouge can consult and collaborate with doctors at the Mayo Clinic and have access to their world-renowned research as well at no extra cost to you. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital, online brgeneral.org, or the Baton Rouge General mobile app. The Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Ohio State head football coach Ryan Day, as we speak, is on College Football Live on ESPN2. We were listening some there in the break. I apologize. We can't go to this live. Otherwise, we would take it. But the crux of what we said, and we will revisit this, so we'll roll on it, make sure that we get anything pertinent said here. But of note, Ryan Day did say that he was caught off guard by the Big Ten president's rush here to cancel or postpone the season. Said they have been in constant contact throughout the past months, but it was still seemingly abrupt to him, and he openly lobbied for moving the start of the season to September 26th, or the first week in October, similar along the lines of what the SEC had aimed to do in moving the season back to buy themselves more time. So anything else relevant here that Ryan Day is saying, we'll certainly let you know. But the biggest thing that we're watching today is the Big Ten president. The SEC president's meeting today. We're waiting to see what the SEC presidents are not expected to vote today. But the Big Ten presidents are expected to meet tonight. And tomorrow, the Big 12 and ACC presidents are expected to meet. And we'll have Big 12 and Pac-12 are meeting tomorrow. So we'll have a much clearer idea of where the Power Five stand by tomorrow, presumably sometime midday tomorrow. This is just in breaking news from Brett McMurphy at Stadium Sports that the Mountain West has now canceled its fall football season because of player health and safety concerns. It says the league will consider playing in the spring. The Mountain West and the MAC are the first two FBS leagues opting not to play, bringing the total to 26 FBS programs. But as I've said so many times, this is not a health and safety of your student athletes issue. If it were, the decision to postpone or to cancel would have come long before this moment right now. This is a decision where you realize financially you cannot make this work right now. You cannot make this work without full stadiums or without Power 5 non-conference games. This is a reality that we've talked about for months now that was going to face all of the Group of Five in the FCS. This is not a surprise. The Power Five are going to struggle to make ends meet financially without fans in the stands. I know I've referenced this a million times, but it was so striking when we had the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of LSU football, right here next to me in this studio, when Stephanie Remp said, nobody in our athletic department has wrapped their arms around the idea of no fans. Because financially, if you're LSU, you've got to have fans in the stands. I mean, you've got $85 million in annual revenue that football accounts for. And some people think that there's just this treasure trove and vault of cash. It's all accounted for. It's all accounted for in salaries and in facilities and in scholarships and in nutrition and in housing and everything that you provide student athletes. All of that money is accounted for. So you have a gigantic budgetary shortfall, and you've got to find a way to make it up, which is why the push to play it always has been so sincere. So you're at this point right now where this was never a surprise for the Group of Five, but the Power Five have got to find a way to play and have fans in the stands. Let's see. Brad is in Prairieville. Hey, Brad, thanks for the call, man.
Hey, Matt. I got a question. I'm kind of confused. If the presidents of the Big Ten vote and say, no, we don't want to play, the Big Ten wants to not play, well, why, if the presidents say no, how would they get permission to play in another league? Wouldn't the president still say, no, you cannot play?
So how many
another team?
So how many schools are in the Big Ten?
I'm guessing 10, but was it 12?
They're at 14 now too. Yeah, it's so stupid. But anyway,
yeah.
What if the vote goes 10-4? 10 say let's pull the plug, and 4 say no, we want to play. Well,
I got you.
Those 4, the presidents of those universities can do whatever they want. The only thing, if the Big Ten collectively decides they're not going to have a season, then that just means there won't be a Big Ten champion that year. So if you're Nebraska and the president of the University of Nebraska says, we want to play, and the governor of Nebraska says, we can play football in our state. So why wouldn't then, let's say, hypothetically, the Big 12 say, how about we get the band back together? And then they assume Nebraska into their schedule for the season. And then you go talk to the TV networks, which would absolutely be aching for content. And to bring in a brand like Nebraska would make a ton of sense. So that league that individual school can do whatever it wants. This is, Brad, this is the point I've been making like over and over and over again. There is no structure in college football. There is no one unilateral governing voice. Every conference exists and operates independent of the other, and really every school within those conferences operate independent of one another. So, yeah, you could have a situation where teams in certain conferences, even if the conference doesn't play, those teams could elect to play.
I got you. Okay, I understand. Thank you, sir.
You got it, Brad. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Brad in Prairieville. 499-1045 or toll free 844-568-MATT. I mentioned I got the phones open. We'll keep the phones open all throughout the show today. But I told you I was going to answer this question. Timothy on Twitter asked me bigger loss, Neil Farrell or Marcel Brooks. For me, I think it's Neil Farrell. I think Marcel Brooks in this defense was going to be a man kind of without a position. In a 4-3, I don't know where a 195-pound outside linebacker fits. Probably more as a safety. So he wouldn't have been, I don't think, big enough to be a hand-in-the-dirt 4-3 edge rusher. And he's certainly not stout enough to be an inside linebacker in this defense. So I think Marcel Brooks was kind of going to be a man without a position, which is probably part of the reason why he opted to go elsewhere with the defense change. And then, I mean, Neil Farrell, you're talking about a guy who's played a ton of football, would be a starter on the interior of the line as you're transitioning from a 3-4 to 4-3. Yeah, for sure. I think on the field, the bigger loss is certainly Neil Farrell. It's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. I'll come back to the phones in a second. But so many people are obviously weighing in right now on college football. As we look through the hashtag we want to play, the amount of outpouring from around the college football world, but then also the president of the United States and Shaquille O'Neal and so many others in between. Joe Burrow weighed in also on Twitter. Joe wrote, "I feel for all college athletes right now. I hope their voices are heard by the decision makers. If this happened a year ago, I may be looking for a job right now." It's an interesting thought. If Joe Burrow hadn't had his season, he certainly wouldn't have been the Heisman Trophy winner and the number one overall draft pick, and a multimillionaire who's about to start for the Cincinnati Bengals in his rookie year, which is all very, very true. What Joe Burrows are out there. Interesting perspective. Let's get David in Marrero in here. Hey, David, thanks for calling.
Hey, Matt, how you doing today?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
Hey, look, what you just mentioned about Joe Burrow is the point I wanted to get into. That's exactly correct. If he had not been given the opportunity to play, if this COVID would have been last year and interfered with his season, he probably wouldn't be playing pro football right now. He wouldn't have been a Heisman Trophy winner. So much wouldn't have happened for this young man. These young people are working their butts off, man, because they think they have a future, or at least have a chance for a future, like in the NFL or something. And that's what they've been working towards, man. To snatch this out from under their feet is just devastating to a kid that's got dreams and aspirations.
Hey, David, and obviously I agree with you, but I think it would be different if the players were collectively saying, we're not good with this. If they had to be dragged kicking and screaming into this. But it's very clear that the players are saying they want to play. And I think if David, and thank you for the call, I'm up against a break. I appreciate David and Marrero. Of course, you can always listen on our New Orleans affiliate, 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. But if the players collectively were saying we don't want to play, it would be different. But I think one of the biggest issues is the liability question. is someone called earlier and mentioned as we're learning more about, there was a player who had a heart issue as a result of COVID. What if 10 years down the line, players have complications that's determined from COVID-19, although I don't know that you can necessarily determine where you contracted COVID-19, but they come back and file a class action suit against the NCAA or their schools or their collective conferences. I think that's the liability a lot of these schools are trying to avoid. But if you have a collective approval of the players and the coaches waiving liability, then I think it makes it much more agreeable to move forward. It's a good point, David. I appreciate the call. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 2. Brain will have Tigers and the Pros. Still got a full hour to go. We're waiting to hear what's going down with the SEC President's meeting, which was taking place today. So many people are weighing in around the country. We'll continue to let you hear from some of those people as we move forward, and we'll hear from you on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Premier South Roofing, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and online at premiersouthla.com, premiersouthla.com. You want a better experience with a contractor? Call Premier South Roofing. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, Super Service Award from Angie's List, Torch Award for Ethics in Business. Ethics in Business. A roofing company won a Business Ethics Award. That's Premier South Roofing. They show up on time. They do what they say they're going to do at a fair price. It's Premier South Roofing. Listen, if you've had hail, high wind, heavy rain, anything that could damage your roof, the only way to know if you've got that roof damage is by getting up on your roof to inspect it. And I know I'm not doing that, and if you're not either, call Premier South Roofing. They'll get up on your roof for free and inspect it, and they can handle everything with the insurance company from the start all the way through the completion of the work. It's Premier South Roofing. Online, premiersouthla.com.
Visit Bayou Ford for a new 2020 Ford F-150 for only $30,400 with 0% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you. Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Our big New Year sale is going on now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, and you can get $3,200 off MSRP on a 20 Tacoma TRD or lease a 2020 Tacoma Special Edition for $209 a month. Come on down.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Another lawmaker has weighed in. U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy, who, it's worth mentioning, is a medical doctor, tweeted just a bit ago, it doesn't matter if the other conferences cancel or not. The SEC championship game could substitute for the national championship game, as it almost always does anyway. Football, he wrote that, not me. Football, he writes, is important for athletes, schools, and fans. We can do this safely. Hashtag we want to play. Hashtag go Tigers. So Bill Cassidy, U.S. Senator, weighing in, as many leaders, both in the political realm and the football realm, are doing today. So we'll continue to follow all of this as we await word out of the SEC president's meeting, which athletic directors were told met earlier today. The SEC president's meeting here this afternoon. The Big Ten presidents, and that's really where everyone's attention is. The Big Ten presidents are scheduled to meet this evening, and it is expected that they'll vote on college football season. And then beyond that, tomorrow, the Pac-12, which is very likely to fall in line with whatever the Big Ten does, and the Big 12, their presidents are meeting tomorrow. So when we get word of all this, we'll certainly pass it along. But the thing in the most immediacy we may get in the next hour while we're on air will be what happened, if anything, in the SEC president's meeting. All right, let's see. We got NBA bubble action. We got Major League action. We got NFL teams in camp. It's time for Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Actually going to start off with some of those NFL training camps, Matt. Minnesota Vikings are tweeting out highlights from training camp. Among the standouts is Justin Jefferson.
Hey!
Justin Jefferson expected to fill the shoes of wide receiver Stephon Diggs. Well, they'll probably get him his own shoes, but Jefferson's off to a hot start. One highlight in particular features him pulling up a shoestring catch before rolling, turning up the field. Coach Mike Zimmer has said on a number of occasions now they're expecting early results from the rookie.
I really wanted a very subtle rim shot.
For what?
Getting
him his own shoes? Yeah. Well,
I got it.
Editing along the way.
It would I swear I wish I had
stronger.
I wish I had a button bar I could just be like, dude,
yeah.
Or the Debbie Downer.
Yeah. Like Price is Right wrong horns. Yeah, that would have fit. By the way, I saw the Justin Jefferson story at CBSSports.com, which is where Cody Benjamin, making predictions about the 2020 season, says DJ Shark is going to follow his breakout season by challenging the single-season franchise record for receiving yards.
Hey.
Benjamin argues if he plays Cody Benjamin.
Who?
From CBSSports.com.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thanks.
Well, you know what? It's about
Stay
DJ
hot.
Shark. It's not about the writer.
You're right.
So Benjamin argues if he plays a full 16-game season without swapping quarterbacks midway through and having added weapons on offense, Shark could get to Jimmy Smith's 1,636 yards, set back in 1999.
Hey!
Over to the bubble. Garrett Temple was good for 19 points and 6 rebounds.
Who cares? I shouldn't say that. I like Garrett a lot. I'm just pissed about the bubble and the Pels being awful. And
hard not to be.
All that stuff. Why do they stink? How did they just decide they were going to stink?
I mean, I think
how do you not show
question.
up? Like, I just don't understand how you go through quarantine and you live in a bubble away from your family and you shove or Q-tips up your nose every day to into your brain. You go through all of this to just not even try.
Yeah.
I don't get it, man.
I did like that Alvin Gentry dressed like a referee yesterday.
Whatever.
Brooklyn wins 129-120 over the Clippers.
I'm off Alvin Gentry completely.
Yeah. Well,
I'm at this point where I'm like, part of me feels for him because it's such a disjointed season, and he had to play 40 games without his best player.
Right.
How different might things have looked if they had Zion the whole year? I think
On
that's
the
fair.
heels of losing his best player.
The flip side of it is, he's going to blow it anyway.
Right.
Like, I know he's not a good coach. He's going to blow it anyway.
I mean, it's not like they didn't stink before Anthony Davis left.
Right.
Ben Simmons is likely out for the season. Reported over the weekend, Simmons will undergo arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. Checking in on the DJ LeMahieu show. I think they're calling that the MLB now, but it's the DJ LeMahieu show.
Yeah, it is.
2 for 4 again last night. The Yankees did, however, lose to the Rays. Kevin Gausman, poor Kevin Gausman, goes 6 1/3 last night against the Dodgers.
He's not poor.
No, well, I mean, so gives up 3 hits and 1 run and gets a no decision. Dodgers put up 5 more runs after Gausman leaves the game.
First time I've seen Gausman in the Reds uni. Look at that picture there.
You what?
It's the first time I've seen Gausman in the Reds uni.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't seen that before either. I like it.
Looks like there's fans in the stands, though.
Yeah, probably not from this year.
That's not a current picture.
Well, could those be cutouts in the stands?
Maybe. Oh, maybe. It's blurry. You know they got that function on the camera, the portrait function. It blurs out everything behind it and focuses on the foreground.
Does it?
I found that out like last week.
I thought it did it on its own. You gotta make it do that. That's Tigers in the Pros. That's all I got.
Brought to you by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Shout out to Jeff Meir. He tweeted me this picture. You can go to bestfreehemp.com, bestfreehemp.com, and get your free bottle of Kentucky's Best Hemp, the oil. It's free. Just go to bestfreehemp.com. He sent his picture with the bill with no shipping cost either. bestfreehemp.com.
AFR.
Wrapping up hour 2, we remind you about GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Check out our friends at GMFS Mortgage. Right now is an awesome time to check out GMFS Mortgage because rates are at historic lows. Of course, COVID-19 sucks. Everyone knows that. It's changed so much in our world. But one of the things that it has created is an opportunity, if you're a homeowner, to save money on your mortgage. Maybe by refinancing, you can lower your monthly mortgage payment, essentially giving yourself a raise. Maybe right now, if you're financially taxed a little bit, by refinancing, you might even be able to skip a mortgage payment or two when you refinance. GMFSmortgage.com to find the local lender near you. GMFSmortgage.com. Find the local lender nearest you, get in touch, and let them walk you through that process. GMFSmortgage.com. More than 100,000 loans closed over their years. GMFSmortgage.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Hello?
What's up, B? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up! Roof's up!
Roof's up!
Roof's up?
Roof's up!
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1997.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Hour 3 of After Further Review coming your way shortly. Quick Sports Center update for you. Alvin Kumari insists he is not concerned about his contract heading into the final year of his rookie deal. In fact, the Saints running back said he told his agent not to even mention it to him unless something serious develops along the way.
Oh, man, I just taking a sip of water.
Sorry about that. That's not till Thursday. Instead, the three-time Pro Bowler said his main focus this offseason was healing from the knee and ankle injuries that riddled him a bit last year. Hey, President Trump's on board with the We Want to Play movement, tweeting earlier, the student athletes have been working too hard for their seasons to be canceled. Hashtag We Want to Play. 2 games have gone final in the NBA so far. Mavs top the Jazz 122-114. Suns top the Thunder 128-101. Hour 3 of After Further Review coming your way right now.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After Further Review.
Say it one more time.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Joseph Rodriguez.
Hey, Joe, what you doing?
And the brain.
And the brain got a poop.
And the sultry tones of Toby Tomplay. Crank it up, Bray. Crank it up. I got to tell you an honest-to-goodness true story. So I'm talking to Toby Tomplay yesterday. Did a Facebook Live with Toby, singer-songwriter. His wife, Shelly, don't let that go. His wife, Shelly, does Roni the Tiger, this tiger that's here with the AFR and the glasses. So that's her creation, is the tiger, and there's different iterations because the glasses have a different reflection. Really cool art. Check it out, RoniTheTiger.com, R-O-N-Y, RoniTheTiger.com. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. But Toby says, all right, so he's in Laplace on Friday. He's playing a gig. You know, he gets up there, plays song 2, and he goes, hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Toby Tomplay. And a guy turns around and goes, did you say Toby Tomplay? Like, yeah. You sing the After Further Review song? You're like, yeah, I do. Could you play some of it? So he's at a gig. He's at a gig like, all right, answer this, Brain. If you're Toby Tomplay, this is my good friend, all right? You're a singer-songwriter for 20 years, and like, the thing that people are now asking you about is the theme song to a Goofballs radio show. You good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grab it however you can, man.
I guess so, right? Like, if you're the Rembrandts, are you cool that, like, everybody knows you because you did the Friends theme? You didn't even really do the Friends theme. You did a song that was adopted by Friends as their theme, yeah?
Right. Yes.
You good with that?
Absolutely.
As long as the check don't bounce, I guess. But Toby did that for us for free. Like, just because he's my friend, he's a good guy. He's like, hey, I want to write you a theme song. I'm like, okay.
But I guarantee that guy paid closer attention the rest of the night, probably loved it.
I just thought it was hilarious. Poor guy goes to do a gig and ask him about the AFR. Look, so if you ever see Toby Tomplay doing a gig, make sure you ask him about the After Further Review song. And you should buy a Roni the Tiger as well. RoniTheTiger.com. Let's see. Oh, this is what I was getting to. Oh, so there is actually a little bit of breaking news here. Let me not present this as breaking news. Let me present this as information that is certainly very interesting right now. If you've been following the day, or the weekend really, it started Saturday with the MAC postponing to the spring, and then the word started coming that subsequently that college football was not going in the fall was not going to happen. And the Big Ten and the Pac-12 were sort of leading that charge to postpone. Subsequently, you know what has happened. There has been an outpouring from players, coaches, the President of the United States on down, using the hashtag #WeWantToPlay, putting an inordinate amount of pressure on these presidents and chancellors not to cancel the season. It might be working. Kirk Herbstreit just minutes ago, about 10 minutes ago, tweeted this. To be clear, regarding at Big Ten football and their impending announcement, they are looking to delay the start of the season, not to cancel. He used all caps there. That is a tremendous about face from what appeared done. I mean, I'm reading this headline from the USA Today, courtesy of the Detroit Free Press, which is part of their network. This was from this morning. Big Ten presidents have voted against playing college football this fall due to coronavirus concerns. This was a report in the Detroit Free Press that the presidents had voted against it. Can you play Dan Patrick again, Brain? This morning on his radio show, Dan Patrick effectively reported the exact same thing.
Here's the information I got almost an hour ago. The Big Ten and Pac-12 will cancel their football seasons tomorrow.
Okay, that's all. So anyone on and on, but effectively that it was done. And then what's happened today has been, in the Big Ten, has been astonishing. Jim Harbaugh was the first. He released his statement earlier today. It was a very long statement where he advocated for playing. And he said, I'm advocating for football this fall because of my passion. He said, I'm not advocating for football because of my passion or our players' desire to play, but because of the facts accumulated over the last 8 weeks since our players returned to campus June 13th. And then in his statement, he had a lot of the facts about their testing and the protocols that have worked there. So Jim Harbaugh jumped aboard. I mentioned Ryan Day from Ohio State. The Ohio State head coach came out and said effectively the exact same thing. He tweeted, swinging as hard as I possibly can right now for these players. This isn't over. #fight. And it wasn't just Jim Harbaugh and Ryan Day. You also had James Franklin, the head coach at Penn State, who came out and said, I love our players and believe it is my responsibility to help them chase their dreams, both collectively and individually. I am willing to fight with them and for our program. James Franklin of Penn State jumped aboard there as well. But it wasn't it. Scott Frost of Nebraska also today, when asked about the possibility of them playing their season or potentially joining a different league, effectively said the same thing, that they would be willing to pursue other opportunities in order to play this football season. So there has been an absolutely inordinate amount of pressure heaped upon these presidents and chancellors. The governor of the state of Nebraska, Pete Ricketts, also said he was in favor of playing Big Ten football. Quote, I believe it is absolutely something we can do here in Nebraska. The presidents, which had effectively decided that they were going to cancel the season, have done an about face. Maybe not a 180, but maybe a 90. They're not all the way turned around, but they're making an L shape halfway to turning all the way around. Because according to Kirk Herbstreit, the decision from the Big Ten presidents that they'll make and when they vote is going to be to delay the start of the season, not cancel. Interesting. Here's another one. I just reading this right now from Ross Dellinger over at SI. Speaking of U.S. Representative Anthony Gonzalez, if you remember the former Ohio State wide receiver who also played in the NFL with the Indianapolis Colts. Representative Anthony Gonzalez, a former Ohio State receiver, speaks out against the Big Ten's potential decision during an interview with SI. Quote, I personally think it's a big mistake for the kids. To have the experience ripped away with no say in at the last minute, it feels wrong to me. The President of the United States of America tweeted, we want to play. I mean, the pressure that these presidents have to be feeling right now is overwhelming. Like, it's those 14 people in a room, and not all 14 clearly agree, against everybody else. What a day. Greg is in Austin, Texas. He patiently waited. Hey, Greg, thanks so much for waiting, man. I appreciate you. Go ahead.
Hey, Matt. I just had a quick question about the G5. I was wondering, I'm not sure how their position that they're in is going to be any different now if the P5 does actually play this fall. Maybe not as it's scheduled now, but at some point during the fall. I mean, they're still not going to have any Power 5 opponents to play in the spring if the conference, if the season goes ahead. So they're not really sure where they're going to go.
Wait,
how
so
everything's going to be different.
So you're asking, does the Group of Five, if the Power 5 plays, does it matter for the Group of Five?
Right. I mean,
no,
they would just have to cancel their spring season.
I understand what you're saying. If they could play Power 5 teams in the spring.
Right. I mean, if the Power 5 goes ahead and plays at this point now in the fall at some point, the Group of 5 is filled, SOL.
Gotcha. So
they don't have any Power 5 opponents to play.
The one thing that could potentially change that, Greg, and this is where I'll plead ignorance that I just don't know how this would transpire, but there's two things that could save the Group of 5 if they played a spring season. One would be attendance. Theoretically, if you could have a full stadium, you could salvage revenue, right? If we get to the point in the spring, have a vaccine, you can open things up, right? That makes sense to where you could have a full stadium. That would be one revenue source. And two, if you are the only spring football game in town, do you have a large bargaining chip with the television networks maybe to leverage more out of your TV deal? Possibly. So I would say those two things potentially could generate more revenue, even if they don't have the Power 5 games, but to where they could still generate enough revenue to where it's worth having a season.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
No, Greg, I appreciate the call, man. Thanks for listening. In Austin, Texas, of course, you can always listen online at 1045ESPN.com, or you can watch us if you don't have CST. You can watch us on our YouTube channel. Just go to 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the bell. All of our shows are live there. Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, and then here on AFR, Bringing You Home. You can watch us for free on YouTube. So if you got YouTube TV, you got your smart TV, your smart device, watch us on YouTube, wherever you are. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. Come back to more of your calls, texts, emails, tweets. Busy day around college football and the NFL as well, as Alvin Kamara has spoken out for the first time about his contract situation. We'll get to that also. Glad to have you aboard with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at Carriages in Bocage because, man, they are outfitting Baton Rouge. They have been for 30 years, and nobody does it better. If you need that summer suit or sport coat, Carriages in Bocage has got you covered. This past weekend, we spent basically the whole weekend in the pool. Great chance to get by, get a swimsuit. From names and brands you know and love like Peter Millar or Vineyard Vines, they got you covered over at Carriages in Bocage. They got the Oxfords. They got the performance gear from Johnny O brand, the Peter Millar performance gear, which is always so popular. Maybe you want to go get that summery type sport coat, dress shirt combo for a wedding that may be coming up or some type of special occasion. Carriages in Bocage, they've got you covered, and they have had you covered for 30 years. It's Carriages in Bocage with the best selection, with the best employees, the best in-house tailor. That's why they've been voted the best men's clothier in the Best of 225 awards. It's Carriages in Bocage. Or online at carriagesbr.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Our big New Year sale is going on now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, and you can get $23.50 off MSRP on a 20 RAV4 XLE or lease a 20 RAV4 LE for $269 a month. Come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
LSU Athletic Director Scott Woodward has just released a statement regarding the SEC's position amid all of the conversation here of the last 24 hours or so. I'll just read it to you directly. Statement from Scott Woodward: we remain steadfast in our approach in the Southeastern Conference, taking all the available time to gather as much information as possible in order to make informed decisions. We are united in our process and our focus on the safety and well-being of our student athletes. The recent flood of reports surrounding college athletics does not alter that approach. As we have said since the beginning, we are patiently working through each and every variable, following the direction of our Return to Safety and Medical Guidance Task Force. I believe our student athletes want to play. We owe it to them to make every effort to do so safely. So, that is, again, a statement from LSU Athletic Director Scott Woodward, effectively confirming what we all really expected from the SEC all along, which is every effort to play football. So And as Scott Woodward said in that statement, there are a lot of variables at play, understandably a lot of variables at play. And I think this weekend illustrated a lot of them. But the toughest part of this is the SEC has that mindset. And it's pretty clear today that the ACC shares that mindset with the SEC. We talked a little bit ago about the governor of Nebraska advocating for Big Ten football this year. Ron DeSantis in Florida has said the same, that the state of Florida can play college football this year. He's advocating for the SEC, the ACC to play football, which means Florida, Florida State, Miami, etc. So you've got those two leagues very much in line. And it's clear the Big Ten and the Pac-12 were prepared to cancel Kirk Herbstreit, or postpone to the spring. Kirk Herbstreit today, just minutes ago, reported that the Big Ten is not going to cancel, but rather postpone or delay the start of the season, which would be a wonderful time for the collective of college football to come together and have a uniform projected start date, be it September 26th or the first Saturday in October or whatever it may be. But the one I think that's worth watching the most is the Big 12, because all of the reports today seem to fall in line that the SEC and the ACC are prepared to move forward. The Big 10 and the Pac-12 were more in line likely with canceling to the spring. The Big 12 is the bubble. The Big 12 is on the fence. So what does the Big 12 collectively or individually elect to do? That's one certainly worth watching. We should get that answer tomorrow. But if the Big Ten is prepared to say, we're just going to delay, then it's hard to imagine any of the other leagues being first in canceling. Brian is in Harrisburg, PA. Hey, Brian, thanks for listening up in Pennsylvania, man. I appreciate it. How are you?
So, Matt.
Hey,
I'm
man.
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I think you got a little bit of a delay. Just go ahead.
All right. I think they're going to play. I don't think they should take it away from the seniors that won't make it to the NFL, because it's not right.
Hey, Brian, you got to turn your radio down or however you're listening, because that's why you're getting that delay.
You there?
Yep.
All right. I think they're going to play because I think they should give it to the seniors that won't make it to the NFL, because it ain't right what they're doing to them. It should be up to the players and not these presidents.
Well, I think, Brian, I appreciate the call, and I think the players are using their voice collectively. Obviously, the We Want to Play movement has been overwhelming, and it's not just from anybody. It's from the biggest, most recognizable names in the sport, from Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and Jamar Chase and Ian Book and De'Aaron King and Penei Sewell, excuse me. Names, Najee Harris, names you know. So when the biggest names who do have an NFL future are all saying, we want to play, when they really have nothing to gain, that's very, very indicative. And the coaches have since followed suit, and very clearly that pressure cooker has built. And, I mentioned this yesterday evening on social media, on Twitter, and there were some that took exception to what I said, thought that it might have been a little over the top. But when I saw John Rice Plumlee, the Ole Miss quarterback, is the first player that I saw tweet, we want to play. And then they all followed, right? And from Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, et cetera. The one that I quote tweeted was Plumlee, and I said, this might be the only thing that can save a fall college football season. And some took exception and said, actually, this guy was, I don't know, what's his name, Matt Brown from some outlet, Action Network maybe. No, he's from VSiN. He said, dude, it's in the hands of lawyers and risk assessment experts now. No social media campaign is going to make any difference at this point. To which I replied, dude, let's not forget that social media effectively forced an NFL franchise to change its mascot, which had been debated for 3 decades. And in a relatively short amount of time, the negative attention heaped upon that organization caused its two chief sponsors to go to the owner and say, change the name or we're out, including FedEx, which had a 2-decade naming rights deal for their stadium. Never underestimate the power of the masses pushing or pulling in the same direction on social media. And that's what's happened over the last 16 hours with the We Want to Play movement. And it's been incredibly impressive. 16 to 18 hours. It's been actually almost stunning how quickly this has happened. All right, if you want to join us, you can. 499-1045 or toll free 844-568-MATT, 844-568-6288. You can tweet the show at Matt Moscona at 1045 ESPN. You can jump in the Bayou Ford Huddle on the 104.5 Baton Rouge app. Lots of ways that you can get involved in the show, and you comment in the Facebook or the YouTube chat as well if you want to join us right there. Speaking of players that are looking to play their senior year, we told you Neil Farrell has opted out of this season at LSU. We also knew that Jamal Pettigrew was leaving LSU, and he's announced he's transferring to McNeese State. So the former LSU tight end Jamal Pettigrew has found his landing spot with Frank Wilson, 6'7", 254-pounder. He'll have one. He just graduated from LSU, so congrats. He will have one season of eligibility to play at McNeese. He's played in 28 career games at LSU, including all 15 games this past year, winning the national championship. He missed all of 2018 with a torn ACL. Former four-star prospect. He would be a massive target, figuratively and literally, for a program like McNeese. So that means, of course, that Ogeron's son, Cody, who's the quarterback there, would be throwing passes to Jamal Pettigrew, provided they get on the field and play this season. So we'll obviously keep an eye on the Southland Conference, and if they do play their season. But if they do, Jamal Pettigrew will be playing for the McNeese State Cowboys and his one season of eligibility remaining. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. You tweet the show at Matt Moscona if you want to get a question or a comment in. You can do it there, or you can dial us up at 499-1045 or toll free 844-568-MATT, 844-568-6288. One of the really fascinating questions that may transpire over the coming days, I don't want to put a timeline on it, but maybe the most unexpected thing that happened today was amid all of this conversation about the Big Ten potentially canceling and the subsequent pressure put on them from Jim Harbaugh, Ryan Day, James Franklin, Scott Frost, the governor of Nebraska, players, coaches, etc. Maybe the biggest pressure came when some of these programs, word leaked, would be willing to play elsewhere. Scott Frost mentioned it point blank, that if that opportunity were there, they just want to play and they'd seek an opportunity to do so. And Brian Hartline, who's an assistant at Ohio State, tweeted the same thing. When one of his players tweeted, so can we go play in the SEC? He said, let's get it. I mean, you have coaches and players publicly advocating playing out, if the Big Ten cancels, to go play somewhere else. The idea of that is potentially fascinating how it could play out, because you'd be talking about in a limited pool of games. If you reduce the inventory, the TV demand escalates exponentially. I mean, if hypothetically, if the Big Ten, Pac-12 decide we're out, well, all of those TV windows that were filled by Big Ten and Pac-12 teams, now if you're an SEC, ACC, Big 12, you step in there, now maybe you even recoup more money from larger TV audiences than you would have otherwise just by playing under your current deal. Something worth keeping an eye on. That feels like a far cry, but Greg Sankey today was very clear. They were not going to announce a cancellation of the season. Scott Woodward has since followed, and as we mentioned, the ADs met this morning. The presidents recently met. Since we've been on the air, the SEC presidents met as well. And now you get this statement from Scott Woodward that the SEC is making every effort to play, and they're staying true to what they've done all along. It's evident. And the opportunity could be even greater there if there's no Big Ten, Pac-12. All right, that's further review. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up with some of your calls, texts, emails, tweets. I also want to talk a bit about Alvin Kamara's comments today. We've done wall-to-wall. It's been wall-to-wall college football, as you'd understand today, with the day going the way that it has. But I do want to get a word in on Kamara's contract. So we'll do that when we come back. And if you want to work in a call, text, email, or tweet, this is the time to do it. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I say it every day, but really think about what I just said. Always on time or you don't pay a dime. At River City's 1 Hour Air, they value your time and they value your money. Always on time or you don't pay a dime. Schedule time to come to your house. If they're 1 minute late, you don't come out of pocket 1 cent. They value your time. They value your money at River City's 1 Hour Air. They want to do the job right the first time. So maybe a small repair keeps your system running efficiently, preventing a very costly repair down the line, extending the life of your home central AC. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. They work nights, holidays, weekends, and you never pay extra for that, by the way. River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or online at onehourbr.com. Spell it out, onehourbr.com. For River City's 1 Hour Air.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a view.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. You can always give them a shout at 288-8138. Have them come by. They'll give you that estimate. They'll measure twice, install once. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Alvin Kamara met with the media on Monday. First time since reporting to camp that we've gotten to hear from Kamara, who was a gigantic part of the offseason conversation as it pertained to the New Orleans Saints, because one of the giant parts of this conversation has been if the Saints are going to extend Kamara's contract this offseason, or if they would wait and let him go into this next offseason as a free agent and try to re-sign him. Kamara gave what is probably the most perfect answer to the contract question ever. Give a listen.
As far as the contract goes, I'm not really focused on that. My main focus this offseason was getting back healthy. Had a rocky year last year dealing with injuries. So I've dealt with that, got back healthy, and I'm here now. Just trying to get back in the swing, trying to navigate what's going on with this Corona thing, and just focus on what we got to do as a team to be able to overcome this. So contract, it'll happen when it happens. I'm not really too concerned with it.
He went on and elaborated, and the core and the crux of what he said was, I don't bother with my contract. I told my agent, don't even come talk to me. Here's the quote from Kamara. It'll happen when it happens. Me and my agent talked briefly about it, and I told him, don't tell me anything about a contract until it's like something where it's happening or there's something I need to know. Quote, it's never been something like, I didn't come to the NFL thinking about, I can't wait till I get a contract. It's like, I'm playing, and when that comes, it's going to be well-deserved, and it's going to be perfect timing for it. It's just not something that's at the forefront of my day. It's not something I wake up thinking about. I just wake up thinking about, all right, I got to do what I have to do for this team to win, put myself in the best position to be successful, and then with the team success comes individual success. So that's what I'm focused on, and that's been my message since I've been here. Probably the most perfect comment about a contract that you could have. Tell my agent to do with it. Until there's something to talk about, don't call me. And in the meantime, I'm going to go worry about football, which is a great team-oriented perspective from a guy that the Saints need to be really good again this year, like he was his first 2 years and until he was injured last year, which, oh, by the way, is the other part about what Kamara discussed, because some people out there, and it may be you, who still don't think Alvin Kamara deserves that contract extension, have questioned or neglected to acknowledge the reality of the injuries that beset Kamara in 2019. Alvin Kamara said he was basically 75% playing on one leg last year. He said today, quote, he, quote, basically tore my knee during week 6. Said the injury did not require surgery, though, so he did a lot of rehab. Quote, in the past, I normally wouldn't even think about being able to break a tackle or bounce outside or turn a 2-yard gain into 10. But last year was a lot of just get what I can and go down and don't do too much because I could possibly hurt my knee or it's too painful to even think about making another move. That guy still played in 14 games last year. The guy who was just getting what he could go down, couldn't make another move because it was too painful. That guy still managed to play 14 games last year. That week 6 injury that happened at Jacksonville, he didn't play the next 2 weeks. And by the way, after that, Kamara never had a reception over 20 yards the rest of the season. Actually, he never had a reception over 17 yards the rest of the season. He never had a run longer than 40, and that came in week 16 after, as he put it, a ton of rehab, etc. That was the game where he had 11 carries for 80 yards at Tennessee, where the Saints won by 10, the game where Derrick Henry didn't play. The reality is that anybody who's going to look at Alvin Kamara's statistics for half of last season and say he doesn't deserve to be paid, you're ignoring the fact that that's a guy who went out and played half the season on what he described as a basically torn knee, but still went out there and got it. Now he's healthy. Let's see if Kamara can stay healthy, bet on himself, put up a big year, and be a part of this franchise for a long time to come. Great to see Alvin Kamara have that kind of candor today in the approach he does to his contract and his future with the organization. All right, tap further review. You know, always tweet the show at Matt Moscona at 1045 ESPN, or jump in the huddle or on the YouTube chat. One other thing I wanted to delve into here, and this is something we've talked about. It's kind of an NFL, kind of college related. Adam Schefter was on Get Up this morning. And the conversation, a lot of the conversation has centered around, up until this point, the likelihood of college football canceling its fall season. And a lot of that momentum, as we've dissected ad nauseum today, is moving more toward still trying to make a fall season work. The SEC and the ACC are moving forward. The Big 12 on the fence. Big 10, Pac-12 are leaning toward not playing, but that could change certainly with all of the momentum that's transpired today. But I mentioned in the last segment the fact that there would be available potentially TV windows. The NFL most certainly would gobble those up, and Adam Schefter described it.
The NFL, I think, is just sitting back, watching and observing events to see how they unfold. And, of course, if college football does go away, and you heard all the chatter from all our analysts right there, there would be a window of opportunity for the NFL to adjust its schedule. And it could move games to Saturday nights. There might be networks that would want programming on Friday nights because of the lack of content that they currently have at this point in time. So everything would be wide open. The sports world essentially would stop in October. You have hockey coming to an end in early October, basketball mid-October, baseball late October as it's currently scheduled. You have the presidential election. And so once you get past those sports and the presidential election, there would be a window of time of about 2 months where there would be nothing else on the sports calendar if college football went away but the NFL. There are no fans in the stadiums. There are no plans for hotels for fans traveling from other cities to have to reserve hotels. The NFL very simply could just move games to Saturday night, to Friday night, to Saturday afternoon, to whenever they wanted, to completely control the sports calendar, which they would do anyway. But they might want to do it with primetime programming over multiple nights during the week. And so the NFL doesn't have to do anything right now but sit back and watch this all unfold. But I believe the real possibility exists that the NFL could shift its schedule around, move games into prime times in other slots, and it'll see now how college football handles this.
That is, of course, if there aren't college football games in those slots. The bottom line is, if there, and we already know there are going to be some college football windows that are available. Now, the NFL, I can't see, because they never have, moved into nights where primary college nights like Saturday night. The NFL would move to Saturday if college football is being played, especially major college football. But there are other television windows that are vacant now by the fact that you have a lot of conferences that are not playing football that have already announced. The Mountain West has joined the MAC, and the MAC has been made famous by Tuesday night Maction. I mean, that's their Twitter handle, is Maction. I mean, that's how they've branded themselves. That's how they built their awareness. You're going to have a lot of available windows for live content. What fills that? Is it the NFL multiple nights of the week, or does major college football, if they play in the fall, move into some of those as well, because they will have other primetime windows available? Something worth keeping an eye on. All right, let me remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com. I got a text this weekend from my godfather. He went over to Williamson Eye Center this past week. He said, Nan, my godmother, and I went for our first visit with Blake Williamson yesterday. Really liked him. He said to thank you for recommending him. Absolutely. I recommend all my family to Dr. Blake Williamson. My dad's had a procedure done with Dr. Blake at Williamson Eye Center. Of course, I had my LASIK done. September will be 2 years. Give yourself the gift of sight. I was talking to a friend last night, had LASIK done when she was 21 years old. She's like, I don't know what to do now. I don't think I can do LASIK again. Touch-up procedures are possible, and even if you've had LASIK, there are refractive procedures available to give you the gift of sight. If you want to be able to see without glasses or contacts, there is a way to do it, and the Williamson Eye Center can help. WilliamsonEYE.com, WilliamsonEYE.com, or give them a buzz at 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. All All right, y'all, glad to have you hanging out with us here on what's been a very busy Monday AFR, one where, admittedly, days like this where things are so fluid, it's unorthodox, but I appreciate you for hanging with us here as we've made our way through all of this, as we've tried to figure out the absolute latest and keep you up to date with the absolute latest across college football. We got one segment to go. We'll wrap up with Jimmy Ott jumping aboard with us for Otter Locks. We'll do what we learned as well. Glad you're here. Stick around. One segment to go on AFR.
AFR.
Better coverage, less money. Stop overpaying to be underinsured. Words that I've said literally thousands of times on this show. But you still haven't called, have you? Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450. 293-0450. The bottom line is every one of us, legally, has to have insurance. You have to have homeowners insurance. You have to have insurance on your vehicle. So why wouldn't you want to get the best coverage possible for the least amount of money? You would. So call Insurance Network of Louisiana. Don't be like me. I had State Farm for years. Since I was 15 years old and started driving until about 4 years ago, I had State Farm. And I had rate increases every year and never knew about it because I never knew any better. Insurance Network of Louisiana shopped, quadrupled my coverage, and saved me $1,600 a year. Stop overpaying to be underinsured. 293-0450.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, full night. Let's find out what we're betting on. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
Otter Locks. Jimmy Ott joins us. Lock of the week.
Lock of the week. Big Ten's gonna. What's up, Matthew? That's a lot.
I don't know, man. It doesn't look like it actually. Herb Street with the latest tweet that looks like they're gonna postpone instead of cancel, or delay instead of cancel.
I know they had crawfish in Ohio.
I know, right? How about that?
Go.
It's amazing what happens whenever every one of your prominent head coaches, every football player, governors, senators, the president are all calling you out.
Well, like the ones who are most at risk, the players, they don't want to play.
I know.
And you opt out, you keep your scholarship. I mean, but anyway,
The ones with the most to lose and least to gain are the ones that want to play.
Yeah. And I think that, Trevor Lawrence is as big of a voice, as the biggest voice in college football right now, and kind of leading the charge. And, I mean, whether it's high school, whether it's like travel ball in the summer, all the kids want to play. All the families want the kids to play. I mean, it's just, But anyway, and we'll see. Hopefully we can get this thing going. But the good thing is it was leaked by the media that allowed Franklin, Harbaugh, Day to speak out, along with a lot of these athletes. So the leak was actually, it was productive for the cause.
I agree with that. All right,
hey, man, we're
celebrating on tonight, man.
Celebrating over here, man. Right around the corner from your house over at Rapino's, Mincy, Rabelais, DNC, Matt Humans all had Colin Morikawa in their action. So they are celebrating.
I got to ask you a question. Hang on. I got to ask you a question. I was listening to you. You had someone on last week, and he was telling all the people he was playing. He was playing for the PGA Championship and all. And I'm like, he listed like 30 guys. How can you make money if you're betting on 30 guys?
Matt, I don't want to say this is typical of you, but a little bit of an exaggeration. I mean, one guy picked 8, another guy picked 5, another picked 5, and Matt Humans picked 9.
No, okay,
9.
30,
at 32 to 1.
Okay.
32 minus 8 is what, Matt?
I'm not good at
24
math.
Units.
24.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. So it is very difficult to pick the outright winner of this tournament. Of 1 out of 160 golfers.
I know, I get it. So you can play, you can bet on like 9 guys and still come out ahead.
32 to 1 on Morikawa, even money on the rest. 32 minus 8, you plus 24 units.
All right. I still don't really get all that, but
come on, Matt from Plaquemine, do the math.
I'm not really good at math. All of that, like I'm telling you seriously, my SAT score, my ACT was like a 24. In the English and the reading comprehension, I had like a 32. In the math and science, I had like a 16.
Well, you carry yourself so much smarter than a 24. So
well,
I'm just going to give
math. No, if you want to talk about speaking and reading and writing, I'm exceptional. I was exceptional at that. But the math and science, I don't get.
Love the self-analysis. I'm the best, too. So anyway, we're also going to have Brian Blessing.
I'm telling you what the damn numbers were from the tests. I'm telling you what my numbers were on these tests.
So Mincy picked 5 golfers. He lost on 4 of them. That's minus 4 units. Say $10 a golfer. Minus 40, and then he wins $320 on Morikawa.
Okay, good.
He profits $280.
Okay, good.
On a $10 bet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. But so that's why you do. In PGA, the lists were longer than usual because it was a stronger field and it was a tougher field. And so, but if you do hit a kid, hey man, he played 20 rounds at that course in his days at Cal Berkeley from Los Angeles, but it paid because he knew how to approach 17 to go for it. On the drive or go for the green on 17. Good stuff, man.
Totes my goats. All right, hey, what are we betting on tonight?
All right. Remember Robbie Ray last week? By the way, we won last Friday. So anyway, Robbie Ray, who gave up four or five runs to the Astros, and then we collapsed in the 4th inning, gave up 9 runs. We're going at him again. Coors Field tonight. Arizona comes into Coors Field. Rockies have been good tonight. A small price at home. Rockies a better team. Got a good pitcher going. We're going to take the Colorado Rockies minus $1.30 against Robbie Ray and the Diamondbacks.
All right, Colorado minus 130. That's the lock of the night. Lock of the night.
Lock du jour. You know what my lock du jour is?
What's your lock du jour?
That you're coming right here on your way home to get a $5 old fashioned. It's going to be in so much of a better mood when you go see Lil Drew and the lovely bride. So I'm looking forward to seeing you, Matthew.
I'm looking forward to seeing you too, Jimmy. Tonight at Rufino's, y'all go have some dinner, hang out with the Get out of here. That's Jimmy Ott. Honor Locks. What's the show called? Game Time with Jimmy Ott. It's coming up next if you're listening to us in Baton Rouge. And, of course, you can check them out on their Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Let me remind you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. And remember, they are hiring as well at all Shawbills locations. So you can apply in person or online at ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. They need storefront workers. They also need anyone with any proficiency in the garage. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices. Shawbills. We keep you rolling. Brain, what did you learn today?
A gaggle of teams want in on that SEC chant.
SEC. Joe, what did you learn?
I learned that we had almost exactly the opposite ACT score.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, what'd you learn?
Kevin Gausman is not pitching for the Cincinnati Reds. It's after further review. Shout out to Relief Windows, Brain, Joseph. Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. Awesome time if you're in the market for a vehicle or you might be in the market for a new vehicle to get on by and see our friends at South Point Volkswagen. Listen, they are Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, which means they can give you the best deal of any Volkswagen dealer in the state. So it's worth a drive to South Point in Baton Rouge, even if you're outside of our Baton Rouge area, to go check out our friends at South Point Volkswagen. They'll treat you awesome as well. But what you're going to get is an amazing vehicle, one of 9 IIHS top safety picks. That great German engineering, built right here in the USA. Style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. As soon as I walk out of here, I'm going to get my Volkswagen Atlas to drive home. You could as well, but you got to go to South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Island. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
1045 ESPN invites you to take a short quiz for a chance to win a brand new EU1000 generator from our friends at Bozeman Distributors. Simply go to 1045ESPN.com now through August 16th and take the quiz to see how prepared you are for hurricane season. Everyone who takes the quiz is automatically entered to win the generator. Our winner will be chosen on Monday, August 17th. Get prepared for hurricane season from 1045 ESPN and stay prepared with Bozeman Distributors.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Annis & Bitter. Annis & Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.